Now, before we get started, I would really love it if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get the latest content from the YouTube channel, The Last Rewind. And don't be shy about leaving your comments at the bottom of the page because you are the sole reason why this channel will be successful. Thank you. The No Bulls Tour. This here, or just when you think they're done talking about this Last Dance documentary, people forget this is 2024. Do you realize that it was 4 years ago almost? It was, I think, in the summertime or May of 2020. This is 2024. And they're still talking about this. Oh, talking about holding a grudge. Luc Longley, which Jordan actually did like a interview about him. He spoke glowingly about him. And I think he said he felt sorry that he didn't get a lot time to speak on Luc Longley. I don't think Luc Longley was able to comment on The Last Dance. I don't know if he had prior engagement, he was busy or whatever, but he wasn't on there as far as I remember. And I hope that he does not have anything horrible to say, because he is entirely lucky that he even got to enjoy that ride, let alone The Last Dance, with arguably the greatest player of all time, my greatest player of all time, in my opinion. Yes, he was an important cog to the machine. Every player on that team was an important cog, important gear that kept that machine going. And Jordan has stated that in The Last Dance. I don't know why people have tunnel vision and like they didn't hear that. Michael Jordan just said, "I won by myself." Nowhere in that documentary did Michael Jordan ever say, "I won by myself. I won without my teammates. I had to drag my teammates." You will not find it. You won't find it. I think that documentary had like 10 parts. You won't find Michael Jordan at any time say his teammates were garbage. They weren't worth the cloth that they wore to the games. To take off my shoes, you're not worthy of playing with me. Sit on the bench and let me do it on my own. You've never heard it. Hell, 97, I can remember watching the 97 finals. Jordan, when they won the fifth championship, he said, "I couldn't have done this without Scottie. Half of this MVP, I'm paraphrasing, half of this MVP should go to Scottie Pippen because he deserves just as much as I do." Then he joked, he said, "I'll take the trophy, you take the car home." They used to give you a car when you won MVP. I don't think they do it anymore because they earned less money back then. Not that Michael Jordan was poor, but I can see more of a reason to give a player a car back then than you could now, because the salaries have gone up. Boy, inflation is crazy. It's working for the NBA players because the pay for them has gone up extremely high compared to when Michael Jordan was there. Michael Jordan was getting $30 million per season, the last 3 seasons, I believe, or last 2 seasons. Now that doesn't even touch today's salary for NBA players. They're not even close to his level of greatness. But my point is, he always complimented Scottie Pippen as being the best sidekick or the best player. You don't even have to say sidekick, the best player he would ever play with. And he wouldn't win any of these championships without Pippen. He said that. Even the pundits that always go and say, "Well, LeBron has won with other people," fine, that's great. And they'll say, "Well, Jordan never won without Pippen." Well, even Jordan has said that. So what are you arguing? Jordan has even said that. So I don't understand why people even say, well, Pippen never got his due. He's even saying the argument that you put to make LeBron bigger than Jordan. So I don't get it. Which tells me there was always jealousy the whole time when Pippen was there. He just hid it very well. Horace Grant, I'm probably more interested to hear what he has to say. And if you go look, I don't know if you can look, I'll put the picture back up. Let's see if we can see it. If you look at the picture, what shoes does Horace Grant have on? He has on Jordans. I don't know what year those Jordans are, but he has on Jordans. So he better not say anything bad, because how are you going to wear the shoes of the enemy if he is your enemy? You know, that'd be like me wearing a Nazi symbol on my arm and a Hitler mustache, and then singing his praises on TV, but then also saying hateful things about him. It doesn't make any sense. You can't have it both ways. Here we go again. Can't have it both ways, right? You can't wear the man's shoes and talk bad about him. But he said, The Last Dance was some BS. So I can imagine it's going to be a heartwarming, no bull tour where he's going to say a bunch of great things about Jordan. I feel like he's going to say some things about him allegedly leaking some information to some reporters about the insides of the locker room, what was going on during the championship years and before with Jordan, how he handled teammates and coaches and the media and stuff like that, and him himself, because there was a rumor where he played like dog crap one day or a few nights, and that Jordan would take his dinner away, and Horace didn't respond. He just let Jordan take his dinner away, and that kind of made Horace, I guess, look like a punk. Now, nobody's going to argue that Michael Jordan was not always nice. Even himself has said that he wasn't always nice because he wanted to win so badly. But Horace, I feel, probably feels like he came off looking like a punk. And so he's going to respond and give his take now. But he's also lucky. It's a privilege, I would think, to be on a team like you're doing something that the majority of the population can't do. And you played at the highest level and you won at the highest level. And you're still complaining. All this does to me, I think, for the newer generation, is say, get the money, forget getting the championships. I feel like, we saw the All-Star game and how horrible that was. Nobody cares, I don't think cares about legacy. I think it's going to get there where nobody's going to care about legacy. I think the ring argument is going to start to dissipate after a while. And you know why it's going to do that? I think it's going to be because LeBron. LeBron has 4 championships, 6 losses. A lot of people will harp on those 6 losses. And his argument sometimes, he hasn't said it, but not directly, longevity and playing at a high level will be his argument for the claim of GOAT status. And I think that's going to be a lot of people's argument, is longevity and playing at a high level instead of championships. I think that's what's going to end up happening. And then when you see how Horace, Scottie, Luc, and maybe other disgruntled teammates have responded to Last Dance and what they had to go through by being teammates of Michael, even though they won 3 championships or 6 together, depending on who was there the longest. Winning all those championships does not seem like it has brought any of these people happiness. Pippen has 6 championships. 6. And it still has left him feeling destitute as a person and a player, it feels like. Hasn't made them happy. I guess money doesn't buy happiness, and neither does championships with arguably the greatest player of all time. So, Pippen, I don't know what more he's going to say, more outrageous that he hasn't already said. I think the most outrageous thing I think he has said was when Jordan, I think it was the 97 finals, Jordan passed the ball to Steve Kerr for the game winner, and he said it was staged. He said, look at the cameras, the way the cameras were there. He staged that for the cameras. Like they already knew what they were going to do. Like almost like it was an act. Like they had the script ready for that scene to happen. And Steve Kerr and I've got the other player that doubled Jordan around then. John Stockton and somebody else doubled Jordan and he passed to Kerr. Like they were in on it. What it felt like he was trying to say. It was a scripted play. And I mean, cameras are always on Michael. They always had behind the scenes with Michael and other players. So I'm not sure what he was getting at with that. But there's always cameras behind the scenes, especially with Jordan back then being in 1997, him arguably being the most popular person, not NBA player, person in the world. The only person that probably could rival that was probably Michael Jackson. And of course, Jesus, if you get him. So I don't know what more outrageous things that Scottie Pippen had. Scottie Pippen has lost a lot in these last few years. His wife, ex-wife, lost his son. His identity seems to be gone. He seems to be searching for a new one. I thought him and Jordan were like brothers. Looking at them in the past, how he used to talk about him glowingly and how Jordan used to talk about him glowingly, whatever. I thought they were like brothers, and brothers fight. But brothers don't do this. If you really love your brother, you don't come out and say things like this about your brother. But apparently Pippen was so hurt by these comments, which I don't know what comment was hurtful besides the truth. He did get injured. He did take his time coming back from surgery and his injury because he was in dispute for more money. And of course the owners wanted to trade him, and that wasn't a good narrative to tell for them. I understand that he was grossly underpaid. I will agree with that. He didn't come into the game with 1.8 seconds in the 94 playoffs where Kukoc ended up hitting the game winner. He did set out to play. There was no lie there. I can't recall seeing that happen at any time in the playoffs where a star player refused to come back in to be a decoy. I mean, wasn't Steve Kerr a decoy in the 97 finals? I'm sorry, let me take that back. Jordan was the decoy, and they doubled him to leave Steve Kerr wide open. Pippen was going to be the decoy. Look at him, and then they give the ball to Tony Kukoc. And of course, Jordan took more game winners than almost anybody, but he was willing to give up the ball at certain times. So, and Pippen was the leader in the 94 season because Jordan had retired. Why could he not be a decoy for this play? Be a team player and Kukoc end up hitting the game winner anyway. And nobody was happy about that. Nobody could really celebrate after that game winner because the elephant in the room was Pippen didn't want to pass the ball to Kukoc. Pippen didn't want to listen to Phil Jackson. So I don't know. I'm going to listen to see what kind of grudge is going to come out of this No Bull tour. But I have a feeling it's going to do more damage to Pippen's legacy more than Jordan's legacy. That's my time. This has been The Last Rewind. If you got any comments, please leave them at the bottom and hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you on the next story for The Last Rewind. Peace.